So maybe let's start with a quick presentation. So Evals and observability. Quick question for you guys. Anyone use or knows what is Evals and observabilities? Okay, could you share some more details? How you're using? What is it basically? Maybe let's make some dialogue about it. What about it?
Yes, maybe starting with observability. So basically, we're trying to observe every action or and every step of interaction between agents and exchange of context between agents, tasks, and so on. So you have information on every very granular thing that happens in your AI system, and then Evals is the evaluation of actually those actions. So once you can observe them, you can evaluate if what agent or tool does makes sense or not.
Okay, I think it's like a perfect answer for this question. Yeah, exactly.
Thanks.
Clap, clap. Applause. So that was the question, the really good answer. How about the real usage in a production? So I talked with you guys. I know that you use it, that you got the POCs on a stage that is used. But right now, do you got in a POC also the observability and Evals or no?
Yeah. So when we do any POCs, we also use. Now we started using the Evals and observability.
Sure.
Part of POCs.
Sure, totally got it. And basically, you think it's like the must-have or it's like the optional one about using the observability and Evals?
No, it is must for
It's
us.
must. Okay. Why do you think it is must?
For example, we don't know how agents would behave. That's the one thing. Because we are also thinking to automate some business processes, right?
Sure.
And in general, like any kind of observability, be it data or AI, has to be there so that we know if it is proper or not. The solution is well figured out.
Sure, I think the same, and I see this is the really good answer about the production ready agents. How about you guys? Maybe you did something in the production and the POCs?
Yeah, we did actually, and it is. I'm not sure if that's necessary, but like a must-have, but it's very nice to have it.
Okay.
Yeah, especially trying with different models.
Okay.
That's really cool. I mean, for example, I solved one very annoying bug just by switching with different models, which was way easier in LangFuse than just doing it manually from your computer. So yeah, it's a nice addition.
So you think it's not the must-have, but it's really nice to have? How it works basically?
It really depends on type of the project and on stage of the project. For example, during the early phase of the project, I believe it's a must-have.
Okay.
But later on, it's more like just prompt management for us.
Okay, sounds good. So let me challenge you and show how it can work. Anyone maybe got some knowledge or maybe got some experience about why to use or not to use the observability? Yeah, go on.
Yeah, non-deterministic nature of LM agents. So I know you can like play with temperature of each model, considering they are great at creative thinking and they're great at using tools. Like you need to actually understand what's happening, especially if the system is much more complex. Because if it's only a single task, then maybe it's not a must-have. But if it's a complex structure of tasks and sequences of what needs to happen, then you kind of have observability in place.
Okay, sure. So maybe let's set we got the huge, I think this space is huge for us. So basically maybe let's split this in two types. So first one is like the people who think that observability is must-have, and the second one is like the optional one. So let me just challenge you guys and show how it basically works. So maybe let's start with the Let's start with how it works. So we got basically two things. So today, agent is using more or less in a production. It's like it can do a lot of things. It can trace a lot of things. We know how it works. Basically, in the Simon example, it also give maybe 100 traces, something like this. It can give lots of traces. And basically, what we got is like, basically, let's start with what is the observability and why to use it, and what is the Evals. So I don't remember the name.
It's magic.
Magic, exactly. told us about the evaluation and observability. So evaluation was like, okay, I get some not synchronized presentation, but okay, let me go for it. So we got the two phases, so pre-production and then post-production. Let's start with the pre-production. The pre-production is like using the POC, it's like developing some new things. It's like more or less just testing something, testing some ideas. And in this case, it's working in this way that we have to check about, because we are creating the agent, of course, and we got some target in our mind that we have to try to do and check if this agent is doing something. So basically what we're doing, we're using the evaluation and we're using the observability because we want to see that it's working or no. So that's how it works. And then we got the post-production phase, and the post-production phase is like when we got the agent in production, it's using a lot of traces, it's using million traces. And what we have to do is like the way that we can do it manually, we can check this, we can check it in a lot of scale. And what we have to do is like we have to prioritize the fixing, because if we got the agent that can do anything, we have to check if it's working or no, basically. So that's how it works. And maybe you don't know, but we got some steps that have to be done to just make the production ready agent. Maybe it's like the 5 steps. First of all, it's like figuring out what's a break, what's not working, then change it manually, then evaluate it or just check the observability, how it works, then ship it and repeat. Do you think that is maybe the better way than this one? Or maybe you got some experience. How you working basically? It's like the workshop, so I think that we can talk about it and make sure that maybe do the production ready agents in a different way. How it works in your companies.
I think we are something like this. But different people can go with different things. Right?
Sure.
I mean, yeah, because when we are building agents, there are some parts also which you want to test, for example, from perspective.
Yeah.
We can also evaluate that first and then put it into agent and then test the agent as a separate evaluation.
Sure. But basically when you start to when you get the idea of creating some POC or the agent, it's come from the business, you said, and just going to a technical sides like creation the working agent, observability, and repeat and etc. as it's working. That's right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So basically what I want to mention is like we can go through the steps. I think this is one of the best framework to just test observability, agents, and evaluation. Why? Because it's working this way that we can check how it's working, and without the observability and without the evaluation, we can't just see how it works basically, because when we can't find how the agent is working, we don't know basically what it's doing. So it's really hard in this way.
Maybe I'll add one quick note. So we did some implementation for OpenLoyalty, and Carl is here from OpenLoyalty. And what we saw is basically in this type of agent applications, you need to have like some sort of a startup mindset where you develop things, you observe how they work in the production, and you iterate. So it's not like you had deterministic systems previously where you build, for example, I don't know, backend, and you knew what's coming and what should be going out of the system, but you need to eval and observe all the time, because user input is really changing. There can be edge cases where it may break your system, and constant iteration, constant changes, observability, and so on.
Yeah, basically. So Simon, just go to straight to the point and show and tell about the next slide. So how it works, we got some sort of loop that we trace it. We got the insight. I will tell you about the insight something more later. We got the data set, we got the eval, and you have to improve it and repeat it. So it's working this way that we got, for example, some idea for the startup. We're starting with evaluating some hypotheses, we have to start with it. And basically it's working the same with the AI agents. So if you want to think about the AI agents, we can make it work in a waterfall, something like this framework. It's it's basically not possible. Why? Because we have to basically start from start. We have to go through all the evaluation phase, and then we can repeat it and just fix it. Okay, next slide. So basically, how we can do it? So maybe you know some frameworks. I think that one of the frameworks from the likes is one of the most known, but I don't know. Well, I know that there's a lot of other frameworks. Which frameworks do you use to just trace and make the observability? LangFuse, okay.
Yeah.
Which one do you use? Something other? LangFuse, LangChain, maybe some other frameworks.
LangSmith, and then
LangSmith, okay.
we are LangSmith, and then we also start doing POC on the agent code because we are heavily on the AWS.
Okay, okay.
So agent code has its own observability thing, but it's bad.
It's bad, okay, it's bad,
It's
okay.
better for sure.
I think we can, basically we're in a LangChain event, so we have to focus on LangSmith, but I also know that LangFuse is widely used. Basically, what we want to cover. In LangSmith we also got something like the insights. Let me just introduce how it works. Basically, when we got some observability, when we got some evaluation, we have to do it in a way that when we got a lot of traces, we see that some traces got some repetitive things. When we got some repetitive things, we can get the insights from this output, and based on it, we can just exclude it and find it how it works and just delete it. So that's how it works basically in the LangSmith. It's working this way that we can make some insight, we can delete it, and just create a second loop without it. So it's like really easy to just doing it, because when we try to do everything one way, it's really hard. Probably it's like tracking the really small things in a big and whole part of the data. Okay.
May I have a question?
Sure.
Because from the business perspective, I wonder if you can maybe recommend the way how we maybe could use this tool, or somehow use the approach which is proven to like engage business people in validating the model, improving it on the in the process. Because I see in our case it's we build the proof of concept, then the model will be like used, improved in the beginning in the POC, then we will release that. After that, I still think we'll have to keep improving, and I wonder if LangSmith should be the tool. Maybe we should build some sort of like validation, verification process, which is like ongoing. We're doing the same tests, or
Sure.
with
Sure.
the business people kind of verification.
Yeah, totally get it. So basically, maybe the tech one side I will leave to Simon, but about the business side, it's like the perfect solution, because it's like when we got basically some agent, we got some business case that we want to fix or done, and basically or automate. And what we have to do is like not only the technical person is in this process, but also the business person. And the business person also can get some insight about from the LangSmith, because how it works. When you see the observability, when you see this trace, you can find manually. Okay, it's like you ask for something, it will give you a different answer. From the technical perspective, it's nothing bad, but from the business perspective, it's like giving you totally different data. So basically, the product and the business person basically can do it and should also use good traces. But LangSmith is also giving us the insight, and exactly that's the solution for it.
So maybe I'll add here that each application is a little bit different, and you want to trace different metrics, right? So for example, let's take a simple one: accuracy, coherence, and stuff like that. And you can set, for example, a threshold for accuracy. So how accurate was the response of the model to 0.7. And every time when there is an accuracy below 0.7, you may create annotation queue. Annotation queue is where, on this particular example, accuracy is below 0.7. This whole trace lands into annotation queue. And annotation queue is basically where human in the loop is engaged. So there's a human, so business person like you, and you can you can check, okay, this was the input of user on a production, and this was the output. Let's see what was wrong and why the accuracy was low. And this annotation queue, there was one more I wanted to say. So yeah, one thing is for sure annotation queues where you can engage business person, and I forgot the other one.
Okay, so don't worry about it. So I think that we can continue. Is this answer for your car or not exactly? If it's not, don't hesitate. Just
kind of, but maybe I will ask you guys how you approach that, because probably you will have the same challenge. Maybe you have some solution in the process. Maybe it's not a matter of the tool, but for example, if we have a SaaS product, if we build an agent which will be basically represented by the chatbot, which you can ask about the details in the documentation, and we want to make sure that the responses will be accurate, or we want to like train the model, but also by engaging business people to some sort of like weekly, monthly, quarterly review of the bug or the words or not fitting answers. If you have some sort of like process for engaging business people who will like review maybe some of the things from LangSmith or other monitoring tool, or maybe you have other ways like simply, enriching a rack or discussing cases which you prepare. I don't know if you are following here, but I want to understand how you are using business people who are not using those tools to actually extract some insights, knowledge, how to actually train, improve the model, maybe avoid bad answers in the model.
Yeah. So there are two ways, I think, as I said, that we are not in production, but what we are taught that you can you can trace or put the feedbacks of every answer and put it into observability. It's for feedback. So let's say you get an answer and you click yes, and good or bad. That also goes in the observability tool. So that with that also you can make a dashboard of it.
So I can like track the things which were marked as not a good interaction.
Yes.
And then investigate those, and maybe then discuss with the business people, like monthly, for example, to improve the model input data, or maybe add some guidelines for the model.
Exactly. So this is one way. Second way is without user saying yes or good or bad. In the backend, of course, when you think about accuracy of the answer, or you can make that evaluation, and you can also make a dashboard and share with the business people, and then discuss like what else is that need to be added or something.
Got it. Makes sense.
Do you have something, Maciej?
Yeah, basically
yeah, I think this is something that we both with Maciek covered, the annotation queues. So you can create the metrics, that are then evaluated on an LLM as judge. And when the metrics are very low, you can inspect them in these annotation queues. I think also, quite often, it's not the architecture, but there is often like prompt engineering. Maybe guys, you can express yourself. But sometimes even small changes in the prompt can dramatically change the output. And there are often in LangFuse and in LangSmith, like prompt playgrounds, where you have a particular trace and you can see, okay, we scored on accuracy very low, for example 0.3, why not 1.0? And you can change the prompt and run the trace that failed on the same input. And I think this is also something worth mentioning, that you can change the prompt and you don't have to dive into the code, but it's basically a prompt that you can change. You can express cases as well.
Yeah, we had this thing. So I had a prompt and I wanted to generate a content basically. So we were using AWS small model, and we just changed some things, and the results were really bad. Right? This is where the evaluator comes, or we have the background in LangSmith, so we can compare the output of both the prompts. We want to give this to our AI engineering team, where they should compare the model itself. For example, I have a prompt. I want to compare between two models. One is Amazon versus Sonnet. If it generates a similar result, for sure I want to go with the model which is less expensive. So the cost also you can test this.
Yeah, and then with the data annotation, right? So you're building basically a golden data set of how your model should answer given query, and then when it's changing prompts, you can just evaluate through this golden data set if the scores didn't fall down, right? Because if they reduce, then it means that you have regression in your model. And so this way, whenever you make any changes, you can actually check if the scores are at least as high as they were before.
So I would like add to the like improvement process also when reaching this golden model data set,
Yeah.
which is the benchmark for quality answers and interactions, and this could be also added to the process of improving the whole thing.
Yeah. Because if you change the prompt and you don't check it against all of the previously properly or correctly answered questions, then yeah, you're guessing.
Makes sense, exactly. So I think that's the way that we want to make this event. So if anyone got something to just want to say and just share with the others, so let's just doing it. And about the type of events. So let's continue. We got two types of events. First is like offline one. Second is like the online one. Offline is basically used when the POC is not in the production. You can use it in a data set or the evaluation set that is including all the test scenario or the details before putting it to production, because when using the online evals, it's like it tests in a production data and data that you don't get when you're doing the POC. Maybe Sam, you want to add something about the technical side? Okay, let's go. Okay, and also I want to capture some information about the conversation with threads. It's like really important when you're doing some sort of agent that's like the chatbot, something like this. It's working this way that when we got some tweets when you write some information from the chat, for example, it's working this way that we can see it's like only the first one. So I mean, we got the whole chat, and we got the only one message, but we also can check this only one message, but this one message can be correct, but when we check all the tweets, so all the conversations, it can be wrong. So that's the way we can also check this and also evaluate it. So we got something like the tweets, and you can check if this only one message is correct or no, or if it's the whole tweet about the chat that's working or no. So it's also really important, and we should take care of also on the production. And also we got the multi-turn evaluation. I think it's like it's really also connected with the slide that I showed you before. So it's like we can check the task computation, we check the user outcome satisfaction, or also agent trajectory, so we can check if the agent is not hallucinating at the very beginning or stuff like this. Okay, and let's check the success stories. I just prepared 2 success stories. First, like the Harmonic company, second is Clay. First was the Harmonic, as I said. Harmonic is like it's tracking a lot of startup to help VC. It's like really database agent, I would say. And the main problem was like it was really expensive to just using. The evaluation helped with the just to make the data ready to just push the agent to production. It also helped with some issue or some hallucination just come. This also helped a lot of. And the second one was like the Clay one. And I don't know if you all know the Clay. Clay is like the data enrichment platform. And you also have to use a lot of things, lots of data. And in this case, it's really helpful about the debugging, about the multi-conversation, multi-usage, and it's using in a very useful content. So basically, it's helped a lot of to use the observability to just increase the value from the agent. So I hope that after this presentation, you kind of see that observability and evaluation is really important about the production from the technical side and also the business side. And it's what's really important, really encourage you to just put some evaluations of observability when you want to push from POC to production, because without it, you're driving the car without the lights. So it's like you can't see anything basically. And maybe got some question? Okay, no question here, so I think we can continue. The last part will be just coming from the just come through the state of agent. It's like the newest LangChain release about the information that we can find online about the LangChain, about the LangGraph, about the evaluation of the engineering. I just need 1 second to just find the report. The report is fully available online, so I think we can go straight through it, and that's all. So give me 1 second. It will be this one, I think. The report is done basically in every year, come from the 2024, 2025, and probably in the 2006. In this case, it was made about the answer from the 1,300 professionals. It's like from the engineering project managers with small, big, and the biggest companies. And basically, let's go for that for this report. Maybe I don't want to go through all the details. You can also read it by yourself. But what I want to mention is like it's really giving us the insight about the agent engineering. So basically, let's start with the top notch. So first of all, it's like the production moment. So we see that it's really as we see based on our experience. We see that everyone probably doing some POCs. It's probably tried to doing the production already. In report, we see that it's like 57% of the respondents have agent in the production. It's also including the POC. It's also including the startups. The main killer about the production is like it's quality, and it's the production killer. It was cited by 32% of the responders. We also see that observability is really table stakes. Basically, over half of the respondent answered that it's really important to just giving us the production. And we also see that using multiple models is totally norm. So basically, companies don't only use the OpenAI, ChatGPTs, or Anthropic Claude, but they're also using the Gemini or any others model, basically. So let's go through the adaptation. When we can see that's how it works basically in this graph. So this graph shows us does your company country have agent in production, And we see basically from the 2024 to 2025, the numbers kind of change. I would say that it also changed in a not a good way, I mean, because it's getting bigger when we talk about the yes answer, but it's also no, but actually developing with plans for production, it's decreased. And no, we just exploring, it's also increasing. So it gives us the insight that it's not the bubble only, but it's also working this way. Second one, does your company currently have agent in production? And this is kind of something interested. The answer is the same, so color is the same. So blue is like the yes, green is like maybe, or not right now. And the pink is like no. And we see that it's really interesting, I would say, for startups, for scale-ups, it's not using very much, but for the enterprises are leading. So I also see about the people that are here, we see that this is really and real, and we see how it works basically. Let's come from the use case. The use cases you see, the best use cases is basically right now using a lot like the customer service. But give us also the insight that probably the agents is not only using in-house, I mean it's not only using by the specialists in-house the company, but also by the clients. So we see that's like some change in this way, because in the previous report it's like a lot of things was only in the house. It's also using the research data, internal productivity, code generation. I think it's not something unusual, because we see that Codex, Cloud Code is changing a lot about this software development. And basically, the biggest barrier, I think, is also really important, because we can see what's the problem, what's the main problem when you come into production. So first of all, it's like the quality of outputs. I don't know, guys, what do you think? Which one is the biggest issue you see in a production? Which one do you choose, basically?
For me, for now, it's deployment infrastructure.
Okay, deployment. So it's like the second from the bottom. That's right. Okay. Another thoughts?
Quality of outputs.
Okay. So the first one. Okay, it's like the biggest one, I think, at all. So the quality of outputs is really important, because we see that we can make some POC, we can make some production-ready agent, but it's not working, and while it's using it, waste some time and money. It's really important that we see that the cost management about using the model, it's about using the infrastructure, it's really decreasing. What is really important, because in the previous batch that this phrase was done, we see that was the first thing that the companies just blocked by itself. Okay, let's go next. So what's the biggest blocker to put agents productions is also the security, and we see that's also increasing. It's in the previous batch it wasn't even a count. For now it's like really important. For example, probably you also know the CloudBot or OpenCloud. It's changing a lot, name a lot. But it's the main reason that we have to do something with the security. We see that, for example, for MCP, it's also really hard to just keep it, all the data, all the information safe. So I think when it's like we're coming from the era of the using agent in the production for basically everything, it will be really, really important, it's really hard to just track it, keep it safe. Exactly. And observability, it's like also the hot thing, I think, in the table. Basically, as you see, it's used in 62%. It's like yes, but only in the basic things, only in the basic logics, metrics. It's only in one quarter. And now it's like the 10%. I think after our our previous presentation, we just show you why it's not a good idea. And about the observability, do you have an observability for agents setup? So we see that's like a lot of companies is using it. So a lot of agents got an observability, got the metrics, got the evaluation. The no answer is like really small, so I think it's gonna change to just decrease this value. And about the evaluation, so as you see, it's like the two ways we can do it. I mean, it's like offline, online, not evaluating yet. We say it's like, I think it's in a good value because offline evaluation is the biggest number. It's probably, that's why, because basically all of the agents is POC, maybe not the all, but most of the agents are POC. In POC phase, we can use the offline evaluation, but in a production already basically use the online, so that's why we get this value. Yeah, basically that's what I was sure. Okay, maybe let's skip this. Okay, and what's the metric to use to evaluate the agents? So that's what we talked before. We see that LM as a judge and internal human review labeling is the biggest position. Traditional ML, data science, or other, it's like getting smaller. So we see that's using the human in the loop is like the very good way. And also I want to focus about the providers of the LLM models. We see that OpenAI is like the best one. I mean, maybe not the best one, but it's like the number one. Also the Gemini is beating the Anthropic, and these three providers just beating the open source model. So I think it's kind of similar to just personal users. Okay, and I just want to share this last thing. So we're just going to an era that I would say that software development is changing. It's changing a lot via the Cloud Code, Cursor, Codex, and the other things. We also talk about it in a break that most of the companies is using some of these softwares. I mean, skills agents. And basically we see that Cloud Code is the first and first in the table that mention software that people are using as a agent. So it gives us also the information that probably it won't change. It will be getting bigger because in the previous batch in 2024 it was mostly the same. We also see that Cursor is going down because it's not only the agentic but also the idea. And what we find out is also that, for example, for Cloud Code is CLI, so you don't have to get the permission for using it in most cases. But for Cursor, it's like really limited by the IT companies. So it can be the problem when you try to use it. And the last thing what I want to share is like the methodology. So we see that the top 5 industries is technology, finance service, health tech, education, consumer goods, and manufacturing. I think that the top 3 is no brainer, but the technology is like a lot of bigger than the others. I think that about our attendees is also kind of similar for this, so that's how it works. And the last one but not least is like the company size about this questions. So half of the responders are working in the small companies, but we see also that this query or something like this was also made from the enterprises, and we see that it's like splitting mostly half of the people that respond was from the startups, but other one was from the other company's size. And I think it's basically everything. Maybe you got some questions or anything that want to add. So I think it's the best way to just that we can stop doing the presentation and start doing the networking.